look at all of the advances we've had, of course, we've had extraordinary rates of progress. And of course, with Brown versus Board of Education, the desegregation of schooling led to tremendous advances, but they have been eaten away by the resegregation of our black and brown kids, especially in southern arenas, but northern ones as well. And when you talk about the Civil Rights Bill and the Voting Rights Act, they were hugely successful. We elected a black president in part because black people could vote. Though we see the Supreme Court eating away at the opportunities for voting by African American people. The irony is the very means by which we successfully expanded our numbers is now seen as a measure of our need not to have those particular means in place anymore to assure we can vote. So yeah, there's been enormous progress, but there's also been stagnation. There's been extraordinary expansion of opportunity, but there's been the shrinking of opportunity in our own day. The black middle class and black upper classes do relatively well, comparatively speaking, to those who are poor. The poor are doing extremely poorly, and in many cases, the working poor are not faring well, and poor people without jobs faring even worse. The walls of segregation have fallen for the elite, but for so many others, they're living in rigidly segregated spaces, which means that progress has not really touched them. Martin Luther King Jr. said, look, we did something easy, relatively speaking, when we had the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Bill. He said that didn't cost the nation anything. Now, the Poor People's March on Washington, that's going to cost the nation something. Now, to reorganize the logic of American democracy along economic axes, that costs something. How do you get more people with more money in their hands? He says, what good does it do for black people to be able to integrate a lunch counter if you can't buy a hamburger? Or if you're vegetarian, some tofu. So the point is that King said the economic frontier was one of the last great ones that we had to confront. And let's be honest, the economic frontier has prevented the flourishing of black people who are poor and black people who are working and black people who are rigidly segregated and black people who don't have interactions with the dominant culture, who are not afforded the opportunities to work or play or think or be employed or go to school in the dominant white world. So that the institutions of black America have suffered to the degree that not only has segregation been attacked, rightfully so, but self-segregation, the choices black people make among themselves, has also been stigmatized. And at the same time, however, the institutions that we support have not kept pace with the way in which the expansion of black opportunity has occurred. So that the recircling, recycling, and refunding of our institutions, funding sources that include black people who have, quote, made it, don't necessarily recycle that money back, their time back, their commitment back to those institutions, and those institutions flounder. Some people have challenged even the legitimacy of the historically black college and university, saying, why do we need that? Now we got access to Princeton, Harvard, and Yale. Do we need Spelman, Morehouse, and Talladega? Well, hell yeah, we do. Because most of our black undergraduates continue to graduate from historically black colleges or universities. And many of the people that go on, that is, at least in regard to those who go on to get graduate education, so that those black people who pursue graduate education are still disproportionately graduating from historically black colleges or universities. That lets us know that those institutions play a key role in educating our children, but also creating economic beds upon which we can rest. So, when we say, have black people made it and has it been a success? On the one hand, we have to say yes. On the other hand, we have to say for millions more, it has not been an unqualified success. Obstacles remain, barriers are erected, and impediments are still in the way.